Hello, I'm John Joshua Babylonia. I'm here to answer the assessment regarding the coin selector regarding the 1 peso coin and the 5 peso coin. So for start, let's start a new project. And let's select EIC 16F18875, XC8 as compiler. Then we'll navigate here and create a new folder regarding coin slot. We'll open this and set it up as the project folder and name it as such. Then let's go to the tools and activate MCC. Specifically MCC Classic and finish. Now we'll go over to our pin manager and select port B0 and select it as an output. We'll also select port B4 as the input. Let's go over to the pin module and rename this as LED, since this is just the only LED here, and uncheck analog because this is a digital signal. And then for the trigger, we have let's name this as CS for coin selector. Then on the interrupt on change, we'll select negative. Okay, and then on the interrupt module, we can see that the interrupt is already enabled. On the system module, we still have the default settings with low voltage programming enabled. Now let's go ahead and click generate. Now you can see that we have generation complete. So we can go ahead and do on our MCC generated files. Here we'll go to our pin manager, because the pin manager contains the interrupt. So we'll go to our default interrupt handler and add our code here. So what we'll want to do is, first we'll do with the 1 peso coin. When the 1 peso coin was dropped in the coin slot, then the LED should turn on for 3 seconds. So in order for us to do that, then if it is interrupted, or mainly if it is triggered, then we can turn the LED high for 3 seconds. Let's input a delay here for 3 seconds. That is 3000 milliseconds, and then set it to low again. So that is for the 1 peso coin. If the port B0 receives, or if the port B4 receives a pulse from the coin slot, then it would trigger the interrupt and set the LED high, and it will be high for 3 seconds. After that, it will be set to low again. So with that out of the way, we can now save it and build our code. So the build has failed. So checking our code here, there's nothing wrong with the trigger on the interrupt. So yes, this line. So we should add here, include the MCC main header. So it would include the commands here regarding the setting high or low of the LED. So building it. So as you can see, the build is successful. So let's go ahead and shift to our IPE where the picket tree is already connected. So we'll go ahead and browse to the location of this project, which would be here at coin slot this default production. So we have here the hex file. Hex file is loaded. We can now program our picket. So the programming is now complete. We can now disconnect picket tree and go ahead and go over our circuit. Okay, so this is our setup here. So as you can see, there is something already lit up here. This is the power supply. Actually, the power supply is this. This is the power supply. It is connected to a voltage divider here that is separated by a color coding between LEDs. Because I only have one power supply, I need to have a voltage divider between the 12-volt supply for the coin slot and the 5-volt supply for our PIC. So in order to do that, I split my I have a voltage divider network here that has the 12 volts for here, 5 volts for our circuit here, and I've also connected our coin slot through our power supply and our RB4 here, which is the input. However, I will connect the LED to the port RB0. So port RB0 would be here besides our VDD port. So it is now connected to our LED. This is our LED that would be lit up when the 1 peso coin would be dropped here. So before doing that, we need to configure our coin slot or our coin selector. So let me grab this here and have this. Oh, okay, now you can see it. Okay, so I'll configure it to only have one coin to recognize. That would be the 1 peso coin only. So in order to do that, you have to fix this. So we'll press this and then press this and select only one coin only to recognize, and that one coin would have 15 samples and only one pulse. Its sensitivity would be 8, or the default sensitivity, and it is saving now. So now that it has been saved, we can now go ahead and put this back here. Okay. Okay, so inserting our 1 peso coin here. Here, yes. Let's see. The moment I insert this, this will change into A1, and you will see that the power source will blink because it indicates that a pulse has been through our board here. So 1, 2, 3, off. Okay, so as you can see, when I inserted the 1 peso coin, once again, the LED turns on for 3 seconds, 2, 3, and then turns off. So moving on for our 5 peso challenge. Okay, so here we are. So for our 5 peso challenge, we will use RB1 instead for our output port. Of course, we'll name it the same as LED again. This is a digital one, and let's click generate. So we have to merge some things here. Of course, we have to include mcc.h. We'll have to change this part and also this part, and scrolling through, what are the other changes? Of course, this is our main code. We'll replace that later. Okay, so let's save that for now and move on to our pin manager. And since this is a 5 peso one, the challenge indicates that it should be on for 6 seconds. So we'll replace 3000 with 6000. Okay, so now that we have that, we can now build our code. Building it. The build failed. Sometimes it happens like that, but you just have to rebuild it. Build successful. So the IDE is already detected the changes. We'll reload it, yes. And let's head over to our IPE, where we'll program our picky tree because it's already connected. Okay, programming is now complete. We can now head over to our circuit for our demonstration. Okay, here we are again with our setup. So since this is for the 5 peso coins, we'll have to reprogram our coin slot to recognize the 5 peso coins. So in order to do that, we'll have to long press here and still recognize one coin slot. And in this coin slot, we'll have only 10 or I just actually want 3 samples because I only have 3 samples of 5 peso coins. And for the pulse, let's retain it at 1. And for the sensitivity, at default. Okay, so now that it has been set, let's go and long press this and long press again, and then okay, so we'll now drop 3 5 peso coins, a new one, the second one is a new one also, and the third one is an old one. So now it blinked and it stopped, so it recognizes the 5 peso coin already. So going ahead to our experiment here, we'll have to we have to eliminate first the supply and resupply our coin selector here, so that we can save the changes we made last time. Okay, so now the challenge was, if I put this into the coin slot here, the LED will light up for 6 seconds, this LED. Okay, so now we'll perform it. 1 2 3 4 5 6, turn off. Okay, once again, so the challenge was, if I insert a 5 peso coin, it will turn off for 6 seconds. 4 5 6, turn off. Okay, so that was all for this demonstration regarding our Coin Acceptor slots.